Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm your host, Ethan Van Sciver, a comic book artist with 25 years of experience, professional experience under his belt. And this is my YouTube channel in which I seek to impart anything that I may have learned to you guys, including art lessons, little tutorials, commentaries on my own work to give you insight into how the business works and basically what goes into making a comic book. And also this is a new feature, a new kind of theme. It's called Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews, in which I take the time to go over your portfolios that you offer me. And by the way, you offer them to me with the understanding that you are a mature adult who is capable of taking harsh criticism and has very thick skin and isn't going to be mad at me, okay? Because I mean, I'm not doing this to make anyone angry, even though it's called Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews. The brutal honesty is intended entirely for your benefit. Anything that I may have picked up over the years in terms of comic book art and storytelling, I'm going to offer to you by way of criticism, which will hopefully help you grow. And the audience who is listening, we want them to grow too. Everybody here likes to draw. I think most of you. And those of you who don't like to draw, who do not draw, like to hear about drawing and like to look at other people drawing. So this is kind of an entertainment, infotainment kind of program here, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, those of you who are interested in having your own portfolios reviewed, there are two ways to do it. You can email them to me. Just email me 4 to 6 pages. I don't need to see more than that. I'm only going to look at 4 to 6 pages, and if you send me 30 pages, I won't know which pages to choose. So select 4 to 6 pages, preferably in a row, so it tells a little bit of a story, and you can send them to my email, which is Ethan, ETHAN, 12032 at gmail.com. Or you can go ahead and DM them to me, which is direct message. You can direct message them to me on Twitter. They can just take the form of JPEGs, whatever. I mean, just have them there and available. What I do is I just take them and I take snapshots of them, screenshots, and then I use those for the show. So should be easy. It's completely at random. I just choose, I go, hey, I need to do a portfolio review, so I just choose one. There's nothing that you can say or do that's going to make that the odds a little bit better in your favor. It is completely random. But if you do send them to me, you are implicitly giving me your permission to mention your first name, which I do, and to show your artwork. So with that having been said, let's, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, let's meet Kevin. Let's scroll back a little bit here and let's look at Kevin's artwork. Now, Kevin, from what I've seen, is a really proficient, very good artist. I mean, it looks like if he's not already working at an independent company, like Caliber or like Avatar or one of these companies, like he should be. He's very, very good. I don't know if he's quite big leagues yet. In fact, I would say he's not Big 2 material just yet. There are a few reasons for that, and we'll go over them as best as I can. But even still, Kevin, you're really, really good. So it's nice to see artwork that of this quality. All right, let's take this page by page, panel by panel, and let's talk about what's going on. Here we have a guy that looks just like me, without my beard, and I'm flattering myself with this jawline, but yeah, like that nose and that, yeah. I saw that and I went, that looks like me. This guy, and then we have these two guys here. So we have 3 men. This guy looks like some kind of a pilot because of the straps around his chest. We've got this guy here who's looking angrily that way. This guy's looking at him like, what's your problem? And this guy's got I've got a grouchy look on my face and I'm walking that way. Major perspective problems here on this building. Even though you're only showing, well, you got a little going on here. What is going on here? All right, look. All right, let's get a ruler out and let's take a look at what's going on here. All right, so we've got, there's no perspective here. See how the ruler kind of, okay, we're following this brick line here, and we're going to try to make it meet on the other side. There we go. And as you can see on the other side here, it does not measure up. Okay, so this is a 2-point perspective shot that you have tried to do here. You've tried to fake it, and it didn't work. And the reason why it didn't work was you could have probably gotten away with this. Nobody would really care. But these bricks here being so infinitely smaller, even though they're basically not that far away from these bricks. I mean, they're all in the same kind of plane. Then you've got this side of the building here. We see another area of the building. And then we've got this confusion here. What this is meant to be, kind of a roof that's coming out. All right, let me show you how to do all of this properly. Oh, I gotta get a piece of paper. Comic Artist Pro Secrets, ladies and gentlemen. A well-run organization. All right, let's turn this on the paper like that. All right, so readjusting. All right, so basically we've got our 3 men. Here's me. And I'm kind of grouchy and I'm looking away. And then we've got this guy. Got our black guy. He is looking angrily kind of this way. Yeah, he looks worried or tense. And then we've got this gentleman who is looking at him. Now, all right. So then we have our panel border. Sorry about that. It's just kind of like this. And it kind of cuts this guy off at the head a little bit and then gives him a little room over here. So this is a 2-point perspective shot with another false vanishing point above it. Essentially, you could call it 3-point perspective, but it's different than that kind of. Okay, first we got to find where exactly the horizon line is, and it looks to me like it is approximately right here at the bottom of the panel. The reason why we can say that is we've got to find where these guys all meet up. Like if we were to draw a straight line through these guys, and let's say they're all the same height, which it appears they are, where would that line kind of meet them at the same spot? Okay, it's not going to meet them at the eyes. It's not going to meet them at the neck. We go down, 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 and we find that they all do kind of meet up right around the abdomen. Okay, that's his abdomen, his abdomen, his abdomen. This is essentially where our eye line is, therefore. That is the horizon line. The horizon line is where the earth meets the sky. And it represents the viewer, his point of view. Okay? So that's, in other words, as we look at this panel here, we'd be sitting in a chair probably. If we were there witnessing this go down and this is what we saw, we'd be sitting in a chair because our head would be kind of at their belly height. So, now that we know where the horizon line is, we can see that what he wants to do is he wants to show a building behind these guys. I might have to get tape for this too. And I don't mind doing that. I don't mind going all the way here. And a couple sheets of paper. Okay. So, we want to do this wall behind them. And the perspective is very, very slight on this side. It's very slight. So, as you can see, I'm taping a piece of paper, which is what I told you guys to do when doing a kind of 2-point perspective panel, and you're going to need the vanishing point to go off of your page. Go ahead and tape a piece of, copy paper there. All right, so let's extend our horizon line out, and if you remember, I'll try to show you. If you remember the wall, look at this perspective. It's very, very slight. It's almost dead on, but it's not quite dead on. It does recede back into the distance just a little bit, slight kind of grade away from us. That means that the vanishing point is going to be pretty far away. Now, the further away you put the vantage point, the first vanishing point on this axis, the more it's going to look, the more this wall is going to move towards us this way. The more it's going to look head on, like we're standing right in front of it, and it is not proceeding into any distance at all, okay, into any vanishing point on the side. The further away we put the vanishing point, eventually the wall goes like, it goes and straightens out like that. So we know that because the vanishing point is on such a kind of just average kind of grade away from us, we know that the vanishing point is going to be very far away. So we'll put it all the way out here. Okay, I drew it and I didn't show you. We'll put it all the way out here. See that? And because we've done that, I've got something that some of my subs have called the string theory. You think of your horizon point or your horizon line and your vanishing points as a rope or a string. You know, it's like if you pull it this way, this side goes out further, like this side. All right, so because we've pulled this in, or we pulled this out so far, the other vanishing point is going to come in. It's going to come in closer, okay? It doesn't have to be on. In fact, it'd be better if it is not directly on the scene, but we're going to put it like right on the corner there, all right? We're going to do that. That seems like the best idea. And then what we're going to do is we are going to we're going to rest the ruler on the vanishing point, and we're going to draw lines that kind of radiate out like this. See me moving the ruler down, but keeping it on the vanishing point on this side. So that's what we're going to do here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw the lines. Now these are bricks and they're small bricks. So, you know, honestly, when you're actually drawing the bricks, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get in there and you're going to draw very tight, like a very tight perspective grid here. Just so that you get these tiny little bricks. Oops, see that? I'm drawing underneath the camera. It's not easy, folks, but I do this for you. All right. Now. Oops, did it again. This is actually a backing board that I'm drawing on for some reason. That's the piece of paper that I grabbed, and it's slippery. I don't mean to make excuses for myself, but those are just the facts, and I want you guys to understand that and be merciful, be understanding. All right. As you can see, look at the perspective on this wall that we're building here. Do you see how it's very, very gradual. The perspective is very subtle. It's not harsh. It doesn't scream that it's going in this direction. It just kind of mentions that it's going in this direction. Okay, so there we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing here, but on this little perspective. Oh, actually, you know what we're going to do first? We're going to do the vertical lines. We're going to line up the ruler on our horizon line. This is basically, by the way, why I recommend getting a transparent ruler, because then you can sit there and you can get this line to go right through here perfectly. You're going to get a nice perpendicular line, and you can actually make parallel lines using the transparency of your ruler as well pretty easily. So we're doing this to just find now the structure of the wall going up. Okay. All right, so there we go, more or less. And now we'll go ahead and first what we're going to do is we're going to draw this side of the building. All right, so he's got this in here. He's got kind of a window back here behind this guy. I'll remind you guys, I'll show you the image. Okay, so let's look real quick here. So you can see he's got a wall here, he's got a little window here. Now because we have the perspective grid down, we can get that in proper perspective now, okay? Then, let's see, he's got another little plane here with windows on it. So let's give him that. Let's measure it out here. Looks like it starts up here. And it kind of goes behind his head. We'll draw that in anyway, just so we know where it is, okay? And then he's got another kind of thing here. This is a wall that if he wasn't in the way, we would use our perspective to show that the bricks are now going this way using our vanishing point, okay? You can see a little bit of a wall back here. All right, and this would still follow, the bricks would still kind of go down like that. You see how we're doing this? We've got a nice wall going this way, and we've got this wall right here. And then of course, we can just let this lie here. This is gonna be this is the other side of the wall. So now we've got this background that he's drawn in perfect perspective. Whoops. Now we've got this right here, this thing, which is kind of a roof. So how do we do that? All right, we're gonna need another sheet of paper. Wait, I'm gonna put it this way, just to give us room. All right, so we're gonna draw a line coming up straight from this vanishing point. Straight up, as far as we want. All right, like so. All right, and we want to go higher. Do we want to? I'm going to go a little bit higher. All right, there we are. We got a vanishing point right there. We are going to go ahead and we are going to find like this. Okay, this is how to draw a roof. We're going to draw the line right here, okay? And then we're going to use this vanishing point over here. This is kind of like an awning almost. We better pick it up a little bit. It's a little bit above this guy's head. And we're going to draw this line right here. That represents the front of the roof. We're going to go back to this line here. And as you can see, it's scalloped. These lines are all going to be in perspective. They're all going to lead right back to in the same direction as here, the same vanishing point, all right, which we have established. We've put up from this side, okay? So we're going to go here, this point, and we're going to draw a line out over my face. This is me right here. And we found the roof shape, okay? That's the roof. See that plane, how it's sticking out now? Almost like a window that's kind of been opened vertically. All right, let's then go back up to this point again, and we can easily draw the scalloped shapes here, the kind of frame of this awning roof kind of thing. And it'll all be in perspective. So this is now essentially, this would be, if this was a 3-point perspective, this is a 4th point. This point is meant to draw roofs that stick out this way. Do you understand why I did it this way? Now, you could also do it if the roof was pointing, if the roof was coming out of this plane. See this plane back here, this wall area? Let's say you wanted a roof to come out here, over here. Well, you would do the same thing. You would draw up a straight line coming off of this point, okay? And suddenly, and then you'd have to go way up, I'm afraid. So we'd go up off the paper here, put another point, and suddenly we'd be able to do a roof coming off of this plane going in this direction. Just like this one is coming out in this direction. From here, you'd be able to draw a roof in that direction. I hope you guys understand that. I hope that made sense to you. So again, to draw a roof, and this would be a roof on a regular house too. Like if you were gonna draw this shape in perspective and get the roof, you know how these houses that you draw as a kid? So you know, you've got 2-point perspective here, okay? and you've got, there's your other vanishing point over here. You've got straight up and down right here. In order to draw this roof in proper perspective, you are going to go all the way out here. You're going to find your vanishing point. You're going to draw straight up like this. You're going to find a vanishing point, and you're going to do this. And there you go. That's your roof. Got it? Okay. I hope that got through to you guys. I hope you understand. But the comments section is for asking questions. Feel free to do so. Again, if you want to draw, let's say you wanted to draw kind of tiles that were in this roof, you would go right back to this vanishing point here, and you would go ahead and do. Okay? So you could use this vanishing point to draw tiles on this plane. It would still work the same way. The only thing that's different is having a diagonal plane coming out of the wall like that. That is this kind of perspective here. That's a kind of a false perspective line, or false vanishing point. Whew. All right. Okay, so we're gonna add in the trees, and there you go. That's the proper perspective for the panel that he presents us here. His establishing shot, his introduction to the scene. That is the background. All right, back to work. Let me see if I can get the camera back. Someday I'm gonna have a real high-tech setup, and we'll be able to do this pretty easily, and it won't be a problem readjusting. But I know you guys are bearing with me through this. All right. What is that? Okay, so anyway, moving on. So this guy's going this direction, and then suddenly we have these guys. They stop for a minute and talk. And he is behind them. So in essence, what you've done is you've had this guy who's moving this way stop, take the look off his face. He's got like a sourpuss. And he essentially circled behind them for some reason. I couldn't guess why. I guess it would have something to do with the dialogue. Just from a storytelling point of view, it is odd. It is kind of striking. We've got an overhead shot of now 4 people. I don't know where the 4th person came from, standing on a helicopter landing pad. It's beautifully done. This is my favorite panel on the page. Nice worm's eye view up this guy's chin here. This is nicely drawn. I like the nice hard shadow there. I like that you've silhouetted the trees, and you've left this big wide open space for us to just look at the helicopter. There are leaves blowing around. It is a very, very well drawn panel. So good job. All right, let's move on. Yeah. All right, so now it looks like they're inside the helicopter. I wonder how you're doing this. You must be drawing this on kind of a pad, right? This isn't like hand drawn on paper. This has to be done on some kind of like pad. It just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look like natural drawing. There's nothing wrong with it. It shows that you can still draw pretty well. I like this. He's directly talking to the shadowed out head. I'm not sure who that head is yet. I don't know if we're going to find out, or if it's a mystery. This makes it seem a little bit like a mystery. If you didn't want this guy to be like, hey, I have a question, who is he talking to? If this is just one of the guys that we already met and it's no big deal, then probably you shouldn't shadow out the back of his head entirely like this. You might as well put a question mark there. We would be better off just seeing his head, seeing his face a little bit, tilting it, giving just a little bit of his face so that we know which character he's speaking to. Again, unless it's a mystery. Yeah, we've got some anatomy problems here. We've got proportion. We're losing it. I mean, this is okay, but it's pushing it. The shoulders are too narrow. The head is too big for this body. I mean, I almost want to shrink this head by 1/3 to make it kind of work with this body. But then here it's out of control. Okay, his head is twice the size as his head should be for these arms. Same thing here, twice the size. Like he looks like a football mascot right now. Shrink that down. Good. He looks like he's cleaning his gun or loading it. He's getting ready to go. Let's see. This guy, I don't know if he's the pilot. I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's co-pilot or pilot. That's got to be the... It'd be nice to see what's going on out this window. It'd be nice to see ground, to see the horizon line. I mean, honestly, the horizon, of course, is right with his eyes. So we would see a line straight across here that would be the ground, and then we'd see the sky. That would be good, I think. I mean, yeah. Yeah, definitely, most definitely, we would see the ground in this shot. And how do I know that? Because we see the control panel here. That means we're standing up, like our eye line is up high enough that we would see the ground. If we were looking at the roof of the aircraft, then we would only see sky, but we would see the ground. However far away the horizon line was, we would still see it here. Yeah, nice. Nice. I like this. I like this kind of scribbly look here. This is pretty kooky. I dig it. All right, what do we got here? Looks like they've landed. They're getting out and they're exploring the jungle. This is just fine. I mean, again, we've got trouble here with the heads. The heads are too big. Too big. It's a very Rob Liefeldian shot. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that he would do something like this in X-Force. He would show all these guys with zero perspective going on here because we are all like, this is what this scene is. See how we see them all the same way? We see this much of his back. We see this much of his back. We see this much of his back, the same amount. Like, this is kind of a God's eye view that we've tightened in on, rather than what it actually should be, which is we're sitting in the trees, apparently, looking straight down. And so, yeah, the perspective should be a little bit more interesting here. This is very flat. Yeah. Yeah, like the dark shadows on his face. Interesting. I don't know. I don't quite know. Are these people silhouettes, or I don't know what's going on in the background there. I'm not really sure. It's a little unclear. The trees are extremely unrealistic now, all of a sudden. Whereas before, these are pretty realistic. When you're actually drawing the trees themselves, this is not, I don't know, I don't believe these. This looks like a set for The Wizard of Oz. Oh, look at this. Look at this guy. Good job. That is a very, very difficult scene to pull off right here. Very difficult shot, and you did a great job. Great job. Yeah. All right. Again, I don't know what these lines are, but it must mean something. Great shot. Yeah, trees look pretty good here. Listen, Kevin, great work. And then things go wrong. Oh my God. Okay, what's going on here? We got a nice splash page of our group, and some wild people are jumping out of the bushes to attack them. All right, where do we begin? Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, this is it. Listen, I understand what you're trying to do here, and this is a difficult shot, and I understand you want to have it all at once. Horizon line seems to be clear up here with this guy. Do I have to redraw this? Let me look at this for a second. Horizon line's up here, so we are descending down gradually. The strange thing is that, yeah, there. All right, hang on a second. I am going to have to redraw this because I have to organize my thoughts about this page here. All right, let's look at a blank piece of paper. And let's just draw a little version of that splash page. Keep it rough. All right, so there's our splash page. Now, all right, so we want to have the horizon line up here. I'm going to tilt it a little bit like he did. Got our straight axis right here. And yeah, we would definitely want to make this 1-point perspective because we have one gentleman jumping out of the trees. And he's right on the horizon line. All right, so we are doing 1-point perspective, which is, of course, the very best kind of perspective to use for this kind of an action shot. So we got to rebuild this page here. All right, so 1-point perspective, and we are above everyone. We've got a group down here. We know that this guy in the background is going to be basically 1, 2, 3 heads from the horizon line. That's fine. So we're going to draw him with his gun up. We're going to draw this guy. And he's going to be kind of smaller. Yeah, he's got to be a lot smaller than that even. Jumping out of the clouds. Here's this guy here. And then 3 heads. One, it's like this guy is going to be bigger in the foreground. With his gun up. Yeah, I think, more shoulders here. Head down. This guy as well, on the same plane as this guy, a little bit smaller. His gun. And then this guy here on the same plane as that guy. Looks like he's got his fists up. Okay, so that's basically our group. They're going to have to be, this guy's going to be just a little bit bigger than he is on the page. From out of the bushes here, I know you want to show a lot of bushes in the foreground. You're not going to see them. I mean, honestly, the leaves are going to look like, they're going to be like this big from our point of view. They're going to be huge. So let's see, we're going to have a guy creeping out of here. This is a major character feature on the page. So we are going to lay him in. We're going to forget about these leaves. We're going to lay him in so that he's the proper size in perspective to these guys. Big hand. It's going to cover up some of our boys. That's okay. It's perfectly okay. You got another guy down here. I'm sorry, but this gentleman here would, no. I mean, are we sitting in the trees? Because if we're sitting in the trees, we would make these guys here much, much smaller. We could do that. We could make these guys like this big, and then this would make sense that this guy's in the trees and coming out. But otherwise, no. It's going to be a lot of this. It's going to be a lot of big, huge heads and hands. If you want to make like this, if you want to make these guys kind of featured on the page the way that they are, these guys are just going to have to be a lot closer to us, a lot bigger. Okay, and let's see, we've got a woman coming out back here. Let's give her 3 heads from the top of the line. So she's going to be here. We've got another person here. Crouch down a little bit, that's fine. Put her here. More guys here. And then trees. All right, so that's going to be a little bit closer to a thumbnail layout for what you've got. Trees, that's fine. Okay, and this is going to be a less confusing perspective. Now you've got to remember that we've got the foreground here, and the foreground is going to take up some space. It would be great. I know what you want to do. You want to pack a ton of zombie monsters, whatever these are, into the foreground. You want to see like 8 of them here, and you want to see their whole bodies, but you can't because this is where we're standing. These guys are coming out from underneath us almost. We're above them, they're coming out from underneath us. We're not going to see very much of them. And the focus is on these guys, keeping these guys front and center, keeping them prominent on the panel. These guys that are running at them from behind are going to be much smaller. You're going to have to find the horizon line. You're going to have to make sure that everyone kind of measures up in accordance with the horizon line. All right, and look at this. It's like this guy's head here, 3 heads, 1, 2, 3 from the horizon line. That's vital. You can't make his head smaller than that because if his head's smaller than that, he's going to be 4 or 5 heads from the horizon line, like so. This guy's head. All right, so if this is the horizon line, we've got this guy for base measurement. He's standing on the ground. 1, 2, 3 heads. These guys below him, these heads are going to have to be so much bigger because they are also going to correlate to the horizon line, and this head is going to have to be 3 heads from the horizon line, which means bigger head. Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you've got, you know, his head here. It's got to be that big. Same with this character here. Otherwise, what it looks like happens, the optical illusion, is that this is a cliff. This is a pit down here that they're coming out of. Like this stops right here being ground and becomes kind of a decline into a pit. That's the only way these characters can exist on that plane the way they're existing. That small, not relating to the horizon line. Okay, so yeah, I mean, in essence, you're going to have much bigger heads here in the foreground. I mean, you know, making sure that it's 1, 2, 3 from the horizon line. You can do these just quick measurements. They don't have to be exact because it is implied that these people are not all exactly the same height. Okay, but they're close to the same height. They're just regular sized people. They're not munchkins, and they're not giants. They're all kind of the same size roughly. So they're all going to relate to the horizon line in the exact same way. These guys are in the foreground. We're going to want to kind of silhouette the back of them a little bit. I think that's a smart thing to do. Okay, just to keep them ahead of us. And we've got our guy here with his gun in the ready position. Actually, he's actually shooting, but he's holding it in the kind of ready position at the moment. But if you look at the art, there's like a blast here, and he's shooting someone apparently. I don't know. This guy here, this guy here, and this guy here. And then, yeah, people coming out of the woods. Seriously, when I turn in a thumbnail to DC, it looks like this. I'm not drawing anything until I draw everything. Hate making decisions like early on in a process like this. I just want to rough it out, just make sure everything's where it needs to be, and I have an idea, and then I get everything done as I actually draw the page. This guy, he's in midair, so he doesn't have to correlate to the horizon line. He's in the air. All right. Yeah. This guy's in the air too. This guy's jumping. All right. Anyway, so that's basically a cleaned up version of what this splash page should look like. What can I say, Kevin? Great job. Oops. Great job. Very, very pleased with what I see. And you do have your number one issue is perspective. It's funny. I mean, it seems to be that is the most difficult thing for people. And I'm aware as I look at these pages that I do need to spend more time instructing you guys about basic perspective. And I hope you're following along. If you don't understand anything, I mean, even the most basic, if you don't understand the horizon line, you've got to ask me again to explain it to you. You've got to go ahead and just, I'll find a different way to make it clear. You need to know these basic things in order to do perspective. And if you kind of don't really understand a concept and you haven't mastered something basic like the horizon line, you can't go forward until you do understand it. And it's just like math. Sometimes it just needs to be explained to you in a different way so that it clicks. And that's what I'm here for. So again, thank you everyone. Thank you. You know what? Thank you to all the people who donated to my Patreon. That's wonderful. Thank you to all for people who donate to Super Chats. Thanks to my subscribers. We are now well over 12,000. I think 12,200 and something last time I looked. This channel is growing fast, really fast. We're passing by people who've been doing this for years. And I owe it all to you guys and just your word of mouth. And your loyalty to this channel. I'm very pleased. Please, if you enjoyed this, hit like. It helps with the algorithm. It's just as good as donating to the channel, frankly, if you will hit like on my videos. It really does make a big difference in how this channel grows and gets recommended to other people who have similar interests. I thank you all. Have a great Valentine's Day if you're watching this on February 14th. If not, have a great day anyway. This is Ethan Van Sciver, Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and I'll see you again later.